Thank you so much. Sanya Ansar, ladies and gentlemen, from the World Bank. We have a second presenter before we meet the panel. I'd like to invite Helen Warby, the Head Gender Inclusive Finance person for the Alliance for Financial Inclusion. Let's welcome Helen up on stage.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here to share some of the work that the members are doing across the AFI network. Next slide, please, Thomas. So we have a situation quite frequently where members will come to us and say, we want to enact some gender policies in our institution. We have 3 policies that we want to work on, but which one do we do first, Helen? Which one is going to have the greatest impact in our jurisdiction? Where do we best use our resources? And at the moment, we cannot say in the AFI network which are the most impactful policies for helping increase women's financial inclusion. So we have the guiding Denarau Action Plan, which helps us take forward all of our gender work with the support of the Gender Inclusive Finance Committee. And so we have decided that using the Denarau to guide us, we are going to undertake a large-scale mapping project to map all of the work that you, the members, are doing to support women's financial inclusion. This is the largest piece of research that AFI has ever undertaken on this topic, and we are hoping that at the end of this, we will be able to provide you with key guidance on the most effective way to take gender-inclusive finance policies forward. To be able to do that, we are going to undertake 4 key aspects in the project. And you can see highlighted here. The first thing we're going to do is we are mapping all of your jurisdictions. So your focal point will have received a request from us to complete a data sheet. If you haven't yet sent it back, please send it back. We would very much like your data. We have a very able team waiting to do the analysis, and we still have a few missing data points, so please do send your data back. That will help us complete our landscape report. We're also using some global data sets to help us. We will then want to understand the real rich context of what you are doing. Numbers don't tell the whole story. So we are going to do 16 deep dive case studies, and we thank and appreciate the members in the room who are supporting us with those. I know that some of you are even doing your interviews here to help us. So this will give us some really, really rich information about what you are doing. We are then looking at the end of this year of providing you with the summary recommendations of the most effective policies that you can look at taking forward in the future. And obviously, we want our policy to be evidence-driven, so we are going to be updating the AFI data portal with the latest data so that there's going to be a comprehensive data set available for you as well. If you haven't used the AFI data portal already, it is free to use and to register, and I recommend that in the next coffee break, you look up the AFI data portal and create your own login, and then you can start accessing all of our free-to-use data. Next slide, Thomas. It's really important that when we are doing analysis of the work that has been undertaken, that we don't just use one data point. So we have taken data from all of these different global data sets to help us with the analysis, because we want to build up the most comprehensive picture of the work that you are doing. And obviously, you can see at the end, we have all of the data that you collect. As Denarau Action Plan 6 says, it's really important to collect this sex disaggregated data, because that really does help inform you about the situation of women in your country and the opportunities that you have going forward. Thomas, next slide, please. We also want to show really great appreciation to these 16 member countries. I hope for those of you in the room who see your jurisdiction named up here, you can feel some real pride in the contribution that you are making to this really important piece of work. We thank you enormously for this, and we will be publishing these soon. So thank you. And we've done some initial analysis. And I'm going to go through this fairly briefly because we also have our team here. Anybody who would like to learn more about this project, come and find me or any of the gender team at any of the breaks, and I'll be happy to talk to you about this in depth and connect you up with some of our consulting team who are supporting us. So we can see a picture that looks a bit like an egg. If you look on the left-hand side of the egg, in the yellow egg yolk, this is where you, as the regulators, you have the most control. You have the mandate. And so this is where we are looking at your foundational policy and regulation will sit. But of course, you can create the best policy in the world. But if you don't have the rails to be able to run that policy, then it's very hard for you to implement it. So the second layer of the egg is around the ICT infrastructure that you have available. It's around the ID that you have available in your country. But we also understand that even if you have those rails, you may have some counterweights that are holding you back or accelerating you. And that is the outer part of the egg. That is the broader economic environment. It's about women's economic participation. It's about women's legal rights. It's about education. It's about MSMEs and their access to finance. But even when we have all of that, the part where you have the most control and the part where you have less influence, that is still all filtered through our eggshell. Our eggshell is social and cultural norms, and those are porous and pervasive, and they change what you can and can't do. So this is the framework that we are currently working to. We really are open to suggestion and guidance and input. So anybody who would like to have an in-depth presentation and be able to engage more with this project, again, please do come and find us. And we just move on to the last slide, and I can show you, hopefully, what you will be able to do with it at the end of it. This is going to be a living, breathing, usable project. It's going to be practical for you to take forward. So we are hoping that you are going to end up with a set of tools that you can use in your regulatory environment. We also are hoping that the framework that we finalize is something that you can take to other ministries, other bodies, the international community who are working in your jurisdiction to help you do the work that you want to do. We're also going to be giving you a globally relevant data set with probably some of the widest data analysis on women's financial inclusion that you have available within your jurisdiction. And also, thanks to all of the members who have partaken in the case studies, you will then be able to read the deep dive case study information and find out some of the really rich context of what other members are doing that is successful, so you can have ideas to take forward. And we're hoping that next year we will start developing the first ever AFI gender inclusive finance policy model that you will then be able to use across the network to guide your future work. So I'm going to wrap up here, but I thank you very much to all the members who have partaken in this. Anybody who has any outstanding data, a big request from me, please do send me your data. And also, anybody who would like to engage more on the project, I'm here for the remainder of the GPF. Do come and find me, and I will be happy to talk to you more about it. But thank you very much.